Right now, at this exact moment, there's a version of you that could never age, a version that could watch the entire universe be born and die in what feels like an instant. And the tragic thing, the closer you get to becoming that version, the more you disappear from everything you've ever loved. This isn't philosophy. It's built into the fabric of reality. And once you understand why you can't touch light speed, you'll never look at time, motion, or even yourself the same way again. The universe has a speed limit, and it's not there to stop you from going fast. It's there to protect you from vanishing entirely. You know, I've spent my whole life trying to understand how things work, not just physics. Everything. Why does ice melt? Why do magnets push and pull? Why does the sky turn orange at sunset? And somewhere in all that questioning, I stumbled onto something that haunts me, even now. Something that changed how I see every single second that passes. It's this. You've been lied to about time. Not on purpose. Not maliciously. But through simplification, through metaphors that don't go deep enough, through textbooks that give you the formula that never explain what it means. You've been told that time slows down at high speeds, right? Maybe you heard it in a science class. Maybe you saw it in a movie. Time dilation, relativity. Einstein's wild idea that clocks on a spaceship tick slower than clocks on Earth. And maybe you nodded along, memorized it for a test, and moved on with your life. But nobody explained why this happens, or what it reveals about the architecture of existence itself. Nobody told you that this isn't just some weird quirk of the universe. It's a window into what you actually are. Because here's the pain you're carrying, whether you know it or not. You feel like physics is this cold, distant set of rules. Something that happens in laboratories and textbooks and has nothing to do with your actual life. You've heard about the speed of light being some cosmic speed limit, about spaceships and relativity and time moving differently for astronauts, but it all sounds abstract, disconnected from meaning, disconnected from emotion, disconnected from the questions that actually matter to you. Questions like, what am I? Why does time feel the way it does? Why does it seem to speed up as I get older? Why do I feel like I'm always running out of it? And what does it mean that I can never touch something as simple and pure as light? So let me tell you what this video is going to give you. A complete reframe, not of physics, of you. You're going to discover that the reason you can't reach light speed isn't a limitation, it's a revelation. It shows you that you are not a thing moving through time, you are something made of space-time itself. You're always moving at light speed through the combined fabric of space and time. When you move faster through space, you must move slower through time because your total speed through space-time is always the speed of light. The universe doesn't have a speed limit. It has a speed constant, and you're already traveling at it. This is going to destroy a myth you didn't even know you believed. The myth that light speed is something out there, something reserved for photons and science fiction and things that don't concern you. The truth, you're already moving at the speed of light through space-time. You just happen to be moving almost entirely through the time dimension right now. Every step you take through space is a step you don't take through time. And the reason you can't reach light speed through space is because that would require you to stop moving through time entirely, to become timeless, massless, experienceless, to stop being you. This isn't a video about physics trivia. It's about understanding the most intimate truth of your existence. You are a four-dimensional pattern, surfing through space-time at the only speed the universe allows, and the fabric of reality bends itself around that fact in ways that are heartbreaking and perfect. So let me start with a story about a train platform, because that's where all of this began for me. Not literally. I wasn't standing on a platform when I figured this out. But conceptually, that's where the whole beautiful mess of relativity starts to make sense. I want you to imagine you're standing on a train platform. It's a clear day. You're waiting for someone, maybe, or maybe you're just watching the world go by. And suddenly, a train rushes past you at high speed. Not normal high speed, Let's say half the speed of light. I know, that's impossible with current technology. But this is a thought experiment. So just go with me. Now, on that train, there's a person, and that person is holding a flashlight. And just as the train passes you, they turn the flashlight on, pointing it forward in the direction the train is moving. The light shoots out of the flashlight, heading down the train corridor, racing toward the front of the train. Here's the question that broke physics wide open in 1905. Here's the question that made Einstein tear his hair out and rebuild the entire universe from scratch. How fast is that light moving? Think about it for a second. From the person on the train's perspective, the answer seems obvious. The light leaves the flashlight at 186,000 miles per second. That's the speed of light. Always has been, always will be. They shine the flashlight, the light goes forward at light speed. Simple. But now think about it from your perspective. You're standing still on the platform. And from your view, that flashlight is mounted on something that's already moving at half the speed of light. The train is hauling down the tracks at 93,000 miles per second. So when the light comes out of the flashlight, shouldn't it be moving at the train speed plus the light speed? Shouldn't it be moving at 1.5 times the speed of light from your perspective? That's what Newton would have said. That's what every physicist before Einstein would have said. That's what common sense says. Speeds add. If you're on a train moving at 50 miles per hour and you throw a ball forward at 10 miles per hour, the ball is moving at 60 miles per hour relative to the ground. That's how motion works, right? Wrong. When scientists actually measured light, when they did experiments with light moving in different directions on a moving Earth, when they checked and rechecked and tested every possible angle, they found something impossible. The light from that flashlight moves at exactly 186,000 miles per second from both perspectives, yours and the person on the train's. Not 1.5 times light speed, just light speed. The same speed always. No matter who's measuring, no matter how fast the source is moving, the universe looked at our common sense and said, I don't care. And that impossibility, that stubborn, beautiful refusal of light to add speeds the way everything else does, forced us to realize something shocking. Time and space are not fixed. They're not the stage on which physics happens. They're part of the play. They bend. They warp. They stretch and compress. They adjust themselves to keep the speed of light constant. When you move, your time slows down and your space contracts in exactly the right proportions to make sure light still moves at light speed from your perspective. Reality reshapes itself around you to protect that number, not because it's magic, not because the universe is playing tricks on you, but because space-time is a single unified fabric and light speed is the conversion rate between its dimensions. Let me say that again, because it's important. Space-time isn't space and time. It's not two things. It's one thing. One four-dimensional fabric that we move through. And the speed of light isn't the speed of light. It's the speed at which anything can happen. It's the maximum rate at which information, energy, influence, anything real, can propagate through the universe. And here's the kicker. Here's the thing that makes my brain light up every time I think about it. That speed, that cosmic speed limit, isn't out there somewhere separate from you. You're in it. You're made of it. You're moving through space-time at that speed right now. Wait, you say. I'm not moving. I'm sitting here watching a video. I'm perfectly still. No, you're not. You're moving through time at 186,000 miles per second. Every second, you travel 1 second into the future. That's motion. That's speed. That's you, hurtling through the time dimension of space-time at maximum velocity. And this is where everything starts to click into place. See, we think of space and time as separate, because that's how we experience them. Space is where things are, time is when things happen. But that's just our limited perception. In reality, they're woven together into a single fabric, and every object in the universe, every atom, every photon, every person, is moving through that fabric at exactly one speed. The speed of light. Always. When you're sitting still in space, 100% of your motion is through time. When you start moving through space, when you walk, drive, fly in a plane, some of your motion through time gets redirected into motion through space. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time, not because time slowed down in some mystical way, but because your total speed through space-time is fixed and you're spending it differently. Think of it like a budget. You have 100 units of speed to spend moving through space-time. When you're still, you spend all 100 units on moving through time. 100% time, 0% space. When you start walking, maybe you spend 1 unit on space and 99 on time. You're moving through space a tiny bit and through time a tiny bit slower. When you're in a car on the highway, maybe it's 2 units on space, 98 on time. Still mostly time, still aging almost normally. But if you could get on a spaceship and accelerate to half the speed of light, suddenly it's 50 units on space, 50 units on time. You're moving through space incredibly fast, but you're only moving through time at half speed. Your clock ticks half as fast as a clock back on Earth. Your heart beats half as often. Your thoughts occur half as frequently. Not because you're broken, not because something went wrong, but because you're spending your velocity budget differently, and if you could somehow reach the speed of light through space, you'd spend all 100 units on space and 0 units on time. Time would stop, not slow down, stop. You'd experience no duration, no past, no future, just an eternal frozen now. But here's the thing. Here's the reason you can never actually reach that point. You can't spend all your velocity on space because you're not light. You have mass. And mass changes everything. Let me tell you another story. This one's more like a parable, a metaphor. But it's going to help you understand what mass actually is and why it makes light speed unreachable. I want you to imagine a photon, a particle of light. Let's give her a name. Let's call her Lux. Lux has been around since the beginning of time. She's bounced from star to planet, from flame to eye, from atom to atom. She's carried energy across the universe. She's made sight possible. She's painted every sunset you've ever seen. And in all that time, billions of years from an outside perspective, she's never experienced a single moment of duration. For her, every journey is instantaneous. She leaves the surface of a star 8 light-years away, and from her perspective, she arrives at your retina in the same instant. No waiting, no traveling, no sense of time passing. Just an eternal now. One day, if day even means anything to something that doesn't experience time, Lux gets curious. She watches all these other particles around her, electrons, protons, quarks, atoms, molecules, people, and she notices something. They all seem to experience time. They have histories, they remember where they've been, they anticipate where they're going, they change, they grow, they decay. And Lux wonders, what's that like? What's it like to wait, to remember, to feel a yesterday and hope for a tomorrow? So she asks the universe, however that works in this metaphor, can I slow down? Can I experience time? And the universe says, yes, but there's a cost. To move through time, the universe explains, you have to stop moving through space at maximum speed. You have to take on mass. You have to become heavy, resistant, stuck. What happens if I do? Lux asks. You become something that can decay, the universe says. Something that can change. Something that can lose yourself and find yourself again. You become something that has a beginning and an end. Something that can die. Lux thinks about this, and then somehow she makes a choice. She slows down. She takes on mass. She becomes an electron, then part of an atom, then part of a molecule, then part of a cell, then part of you, and for the first time in her existence, she experiences 1 second passing, then another, then another. She feels duration, she feels the weight of existence. She feels time. But here's the thing, she can't go back, because to return to light speed, she'd have to give up the mass. She'd have to give up the self, the timeline, the story. She'd have to stop being a thing that experiences and become pure motion again. She'd have to become light, which means becoming nothing that experiences itself. Now, I know that's a metaphor. Photons don't make choices, they don't wonder about things. But the physics is real. You, sitting here, watching this, thinking, feeling, existing, you are lux, you are light that chose to slow down, to take on mass, to move through time instead of burning all your velocity on space. And the reason you can never reach light speed again isn't punishment. It's not a cosmic joke. It's geometry. It's the price of being something that gets to have a story. So let me explain what mass actually is, because this is where things get really wild. You've probably heard the equation E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light, squared. Einstein's most famous equation. It's on t-shirts. It's in movies, but do you know what it actually means? It means energy and mass are the same thing. Not similar, not related, the same thing. Mass is just frozen energy. Energy is just liberated mass. They're two forms of the same underlying reality. When you have mass, you have energy locked up inside you. A lot of energy. Because that c2 squared term is huge. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. Square that, and you get an enormous number, which means even a tiny amount of mass contains a staggering amount of energy. That's what nuclear reactions tap into. That's what powers the sun. It's taking a little bit of mass and converting it into a lot of energy. But here's what this means for motion. When you move, you gain kinetic energy, energy of motion. And because energy and mass are the same thing, that kinetic energy adds to your mass. The faster you go, the more kinetic energy you have. The heavier you get, the harder it is to push you even faster. At everyday speeds, this effect is negligible, imperceptible. You could drive a car at 100 miles per hour for your entire life, and your mass would increase by an amount too small to measure. But as you approach the speed of light, the effect becomes dramatic. At 90% light speed, your mass has roughly doubled. You weigh twice what you did when you were sitting still. Not because you ate too much, because your kinetic energy, your energy of motion, has added to your rest mass. At 99% light speed, your mass is 7 times what it was at rest, 7 times heavier, 7 times harder to accelerate. At 99.9% light speed, your mass is 22 times normal. At 99.99%, it's 70 times. At 99.999%, it's 224 times. Do you see what's happening? The closer you get to light speed, the heavier you get. And the heavier you get, the more force it takes to accelerate you even a tiny bit faster. It's like trying to push a boulder up a hill that gets steeper the higher you climb. Every step requires more effort. Every inch is harder than the last. And here's the kicker. To actually reach 100% light speed, your mass would become infinite. Not really big, not unimaginably huge. Infinite, which would require infinite energy to accelerate. More energy than exists in the entire universe. More energy than could ever exist. The universe doesn't say you can't go that fast. It says, sure, but it'll cost you everything that's ever existed, plus more. It's not a wall you hit. It's an asymptote, a mathematical curve that gets closer and closer to a line but never quite touches it. You can get to 99.999999% light speed if you have enough energy. But you can never reach 100%, because 100% would require you to have infinite mass. And nothing with mass can be infinite, except light. Light moves at light speed because it has no mass. Zero. Nothing. It doesn't resist acceleration. It doesn't hold on to itself. It doesn't have any frozen energy locked up inside it. It just goes. Pure motion, pure wave, pure speed. And this is the emotional truth at the heart of everything. To move at light speed, you'd have to let go of everything that makes you you. Your mass, your resistance, your substance, your ability to be something over time. you'd become pure motion. Pure now, and the you that wanted to go fast would no longer exist to enjoy it. The universe isn't keeping you from light speed, it's keeping you from disappearing. Now, let me tell you what this actually feels like. Because time dilation isn't just a theoretical idea. It's real. It happens. We've measured it with atomic clocks on airplanes, with GPS satellites in orbit, with particle accelerators that fling subatomic particles around at 99.99% light speed and watch them live longer than they're supposed to because they're internal. Clocks are ticking slower. Imagine you get on a spaceship, a really good spaceship, one that can accelerate to 99% the speed of light. You say goodbye to your family. You wave, they wave back, and then you take off. From your perspective, everything feels normal. You look at your watch, 1 second passes, you take a breath, you blink, you think a thought. Time feels completely, totally, utterly normal. Because it is normal, for you. Your biology is running at the same speed it always has, relative to itself. Your neurons fire at the same rate. Your heart beats the same rhythm. You don't feel slow. You don't feel stretched. You just feel like you. But back on Earth, 7 seconds have just passed. Not 1, 7. You travel for what feels like a year to you. 12 months, 365 days. You read books, you exercise, you think about home, you wonder what everyone's doing. And then you turn around and come back. Another year for you, 2 years total. You land. You step off the ship. You're ready to tell everyone about your journey, about the things you saw, the thoughts you had, and everyone you knew is dead. Not because you were gone a long time, but because they aged 14 years while you aged 2. Your parents are 14 years older. Your friends have moved on. Your children, if you had any, are almost adults now. The world has changed. Technology has advanced. Politics have shifted. Music sounds different. Fashion looks different. You're a relic, a time traveler, not because you went to the future, but because you moved through time more slowly than everyone else. This isn't science fiction. This is the math. This is what happens when you move at 99% light speed for 2 years. The people you left behind experience 14 years, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because time is not a universal river we all float down together. Time is personal, local, relative. It depends on how you're moving. And here's the part that breaks most people's brains. From your perspective on the ship, it was Earth that was moving. You felt like you were sitting still, and Earth was the thing flying away at 99% light speed. So from your perspective, shouldn't Earth's time be the one that slowed down? Yes, absolutely. From your perspective, Earth's clocks were ticking slower, just like from Earth's perspective your clocks were ticking slower. Both perspectives are true. Both are valid. Both are real. But that's a contradiction, you shout. Who's actually younger when they meet again? Great question. This is called the twin paradox, and it stumped people for years. The answer is whoever accelerated, because acceleration breaks the symmetry. See, when you're moving at a constant speed, not speeding up, not slowing down, just cruising, there's no way to tell who's moving and who's still. Motion is relative. You can say you're moving and Earth is still, or you can say Earth is moving and you're still. Both are equally valid. That's what Einstein meant by relativity. But when you accelerate, when you fire your engines to speed up or slow down, you feel a force. You get pushed back in your seat. Your coffee sloshes. You know, absolutely, that you're the one changing speed. Acceleration is absolute. It breaks the elegant symmetry of constant motion. The twin on the spaceship had to accelerate. They had to fire their engines to speed up when they left Earth. They had to fire them again to turn around. They had to fire them a third time to slow down when they came back. And every time they accelerated, they were the ones experiencing force. They were the ones changing their motion through spacetime. And that's what makes their aging slow down in an absolute, non-relative way. The twin on Earth didn't accelerate. They just floated along, moving through space-time at a constant rate. And so they aged normally, 14 years, while their sibling aged 2. This is real. This happens, and it means time is not what you think it is. Time is not a dimension we all share equally. It's more like a direction we each move through at our own rate, depending on our motion. When you move faster through space, you move slower through time, not as a side effect, but as the primary effect, because space-time is a unity and your total velocity through it is fixed. So, what does this actually mean? What do you do with this information? How does it change your life? Let me give you some practices, some ways to integrate this into how you see the world. First, notice your motion through time. Right now, I want you to close your eyes, just for 5 seconds. I'll wait. Okay, open them. You just traveled 5 seconds into the future. You just moved through time at 1 second per second, the speed you always move when you're sitting still in space. For the next week, I want you to do this once a day. Pause, close your eyes, feel 5 seconds pass, and when you open your eyes, say to yourself, I just moved 5 light seconds through time. That's real. That's not a metaphor. You traveled 5 light seconds. The distance light would travel in 5 seconds, which is about 930,000 miles, through the time dimension of space-time. Why does this matter? Because it reframes stillness. You're not doing nothing when you sit still. You're moving at maximum speed through time. You're spending all your velocity budget on forward time travel. You're investing every ounce of your motion into experiencing duration, into being present, into living. And every moment you experience is a moment you'll never get back because you've moved past it through space-time. It's behind you now, in your past, unreachable. Just like a place you drove past on a highway is behind you in space. Second practice, understand the trade-off. Next time you're in a car or on a plane or even just walking down the street, I want you to do something strange. Feel the motion. Really feel it. Feel yourself moving through space. And then say this, right now I'm moving through space faster than I was before, which means I'm moving through time slower than I was before. My watch is ticking slightly slower than a watch sitting still. I am aging fractionally less than someone who stayed still. Is the difference measurable at car speeds? Barely. We're talking billionths of a second. An atomic clock on an airplane flying around the world will lose about 100 nanoseconds compared to a clock on the ground. That's 0.00001 seconds, imperceptible to human experience. But it's real. It's actually happening. And the math that governs your drive to the grocery store is the same math that governs a spaceship at 99% light speed. The only difference is scale. Why does this matter? Because it collapses the distance between weird physics and your life. You're not separate from relativity. You're in it. You're made of it. You're living it every single moment. Every choice to move through space is a choice to move less through time. Third practice, reimagine what fast means. When you think about going fast, you probably imagine something exciting. A rocket, a race car, a cheetah. Speed is thrilling. Speed is power. Speed is freedom. But I want you to flip that. Going fast through space means going slow through time. It means giving up your future seconds to travel through distance. It means trading experience for motion. Light goes fast through space because it doesn't experience time at all. It's given up time completely. It's traded every second of duration for infinite speed through space. A photon born at the center of the sun doesn't experience the 100,000 years it takes to bounce around inside the sun's core. It doesn't experience the 8 minutes it takes to reach Earth. From its perspective, it's created and destroyed in the same instant. No journey, no story. Just a flash. You go slow through space because you're going fast through time. You're investing in duration, in experience, in the ability to have a past you remember, and a future you anticipate. Slowness through space is not laziness, it's richness through time. Every moment you're still, you're living more time, you're experiencing more seconds per second. Every moment you move, you're trading some of that time for distance. Neither is better, but understanding the trade-off changes everything. You know what I realized? The universe is structured in this beautiful, tragic way, where the thing we all romanticize, speed, motion, going faster, is actually the thing that steals from us, the very thing we're trying to get more of. We want to go fast so we can do more, experience more, live more. But going fast is literally the thing that reduces how much we experience, because experience is time, and time slows down when you move. The people who move the fastest through space, hypothetically in these thought experiments with spaceships approaching light speed, they're the ones who experience the least time. They age slower. They think fewer thoughts. They feel fewer heartbeats. They live less, even as they cover more distance. And the people who sit perfectly still, who spend all their motion on the time dimension, they're the ones who experience the most. They age the fastest. They think the most thoughts. They feel the most heartbeats. They live the richest, fullest, most time-dense existence possible. There's a paradox here. A koan: the faster you go, the slower you live. The slower you go, the faster you live. And I think that has something to say about how we approach our lives. We're always trying to speed up, to optimize, to be more productive, to fit more into less time. But what if that's backwards? What if the way to experience more is to slow down, to be still, to move through time at maximum velocity instead of trying to move through space? I'm not saying don't move, don't travel, don't explore. That's not the point. Motion through space is beautiful. It's necessary. It's part of being alive. But maybe we can hold it a little more lightly. Maybe we can stop feeling like we're in a race, like we're falling behind if we're not constantly accelerating. Because you're not falling behind. You're moving at exactly the speed you're supposed to move. You're moving at light speed through space-time, and the only question is, how are you spending that speed? Let me tell you one more thing, one more piece of this puzzle that I think ties it all together. There's a question people ask me sometimes. They say, okay, I get it. Time slows down when you move fast. But why? What's the mechanism? What's actually happening? And the truth is, nobody knows for sure. We have the math. We have the equations. We can predict exactly how much time will slow down for any given speed, but the deep underlying reason why the universe is structured this way, that's still a mystery. But here's what I think. Here's my best guess, my intuition, the thing that makes it all feel coherent to me. I think space-time is the fundamental reality. Not space, not time. Space-time, a single, four-dimensional fabric. And I think the speed of light isn't really about light at all. It's about causality. It's about the maximum speed at which anything can affect anything else. It's the speed at which information, influence, cause and effect can propagate through the universe. And if that's true, if causality has a maximum speed, then everything else follows. Time dilation, length contraction, mass increase, the impossibility of reaching light speed, it all falls out of that one simple fact. There's a maximum speed for causality. Because if you could go faster than light, you could send information backward in time. You could create paradoxes. You could violate cause and effect. The universe would stop making sense. So the universe doesn't allow it. It bends space and time themselves to prevent it. And the beautiful thing, the thing that makes me feel awe every time I think about it, is that the universe doesn't prevent it by building a wall. It prevents it by making the wall part of you. Your mass increases. Your time slows down. You become the barrier. The closer you get to light speed, the more you transform into something that can't go any faster. Because going faster would require infinite energy. And infinite energy doesn't exist. It's like the universe is solving an equation we didn't even know existed. An equation that says, Causality has a maximum speed, and everything else must be consistent with that. And the solution to that equation is you, me, everything that has mass. We're all moving through space-time at the speed of causality, spending our velocity partly on time and partly on space, unable to reach pure space motion because that would require us to stop being things that experience. I find that beautiful. I find it humbling. I find it strangely comforting, because it means the universe makes sense. It means there's a logic to it. It means the speed limit isn't arbitrary. It's not there to frustrate us. It's there because reality is self-consistent, because the laws of physics don't contradict each other, because the universe protects itself from paradox, and it means you're not separate from that logic. You're part of it. You're an expression of it. Every atom in your body, every thought in your mind, every second you experience, it's all part of the universe solving its equation, being consistent with itself, maintaining causality. You know, when I was younger, I used to think about time a lot. I'd lie awake at night wondering what it was. Is it a thing? Is it a dimension? Is it real, or is it just a human construct? Does it flow? Can it stop? Can it reverse? And I never got satisfying answers because time is slippery. It's hard to pin down. You can't touch it. You can't see it. You can only feel it passing, 1 second after another. Tick, tick, tick. But now, after understanding relativity, after seeing how time and space weave together, I have a different relationship with it. I don't think of time as a river anymore, or a line, or something flowing from past to future. I think of it as a dimension, just like space, a direction you can move through. And I think of myself as a 4-dimensional object. Not a 3-dimensional body moving through time, but a 4-dimensional shape that extends from my birth to my death, through the time dimension. Imagine you could see all of space-time at once, all 4 dimensions. If you looked at me, you wouldn't see me as I am right now. You'd see me as a long, continuous shape stretching from the hospital where I was born to the place where I'll die. A worm of existence, extending through time. At one end, there's a baby. Tiny, new, just beginning. In the middle, there's all the versions of me at different ages, learning to walk, going to school, discovering physics, teaching, thinking, talking to you right now. And at the other end, there's an old man, or maybe not so old, who knows. But there's an end point, a moment where the shape stops extending, where I stop existing, and that whole shape, that 4-dimensional worm, that's me, all of me, not just this moment, all my moments stitched together into a single continuous object in space-time. And you're the same. You're not a 3-dimensional body, you're a 4-dimensional shape, extending from your birth to your death. And every moment you experience is just a cross-section of that shape, a 3-dimensional slice through your 4-dimensional existence. When you think of yourself this way, death becomes less scary, because it's not an end, it's just one end of the shape. Your 4-dimensional shape still exists, fully, completely. In space-time, every moment you've ever lived is still there, still real, still part of the structure of the universe. You, at age 5, laughing in a park, is still happening. It's happening at a different point in space-time than where you are now, but it's still there, still real, still you. You, at age 20, falling in love for the first time, is still happening, still real, still part of your 4-dimensional shape. This moment right now, reading this, thinking about space-time, is happening, and it will always be happening at this specific point in space-time. Forever. Time doesn't destroy the past. It's not a river that washes things away. It's a dimension that contains everything that has ever happened. And you are a shape that extends through it. I find that comforting. I find it beautiful. I find it makes me take each moment more seriously. Because this moment isn't just a fleeting thing. It's a permanent part of my 4-dimensional shape. It's part of me, and it makes me understand, on a deep level, why I can't reach light speed, Because reaching light speed would mean collapsing my extension through time. It would mean becoming a shape with zero duration, which means I'd stop being a shape at all. I'd stop being something that exists over time. I'd become a point, a flash, and then nothing. The universe won't let me do that, not because it's mean, but because that's not how things with mass work. Things with mass extend through time. That's what having mass means, being something that persists, that resists, that has inertia. Light doesn't extend through time. It's all space, no time. That's why it can move at light speed. It's not a thing persisting through duration. It's a thing propagating through space. And you're not light. You're matter. You're mass. You're something that extends through time. And that's beautiful. That's precious. That's what gives you the ability to have experiences, memories, growth, change. So here we are, at the end of a journey through space-time. Let me bring it all together for you. Let me give you the synthesis, the takeaway, the thing I want you to carry with you after this. You came here thinking light speed was some far-off thing, some number in a textbook, some science fiction dream, something that doesn't touch your life. But now you know the truth. You're already traveling at light speed, through space-time. You always have been. You always will be. The only question is, how much of that speed are you spending on space, and how much on time? When you sit still, you experience time fully. You age, you remember, you anticipate. You move through your own story at maximum velocity, 1 second per second. The fastest you can move through time. When you move through space, you borrow from that. Time slows down for you. You experience less of it per unit of distance traveled. You age slower. You think slower. You live slower. And the reason you can never reach light speed through space isn't a limitation. It's not a frustration. It's not the universe being stingy or cruel. It's a protection. Because reaching light speed would mean abandoning time entirely. It would mean becoming something without past or future, without experience, without self. You'd have to give up your mass, your resistance, your substance, your ability to be something over time. You'd become pure motion, pure now, and the you that wanted to go fast would no longer exist to enjoy it. The universe isn't keeping you from light speed, it's keeping you from disappearing. And I think that's profound. I think that's worth sitting with, because it means the structure of reality is designed to protect experience, to protect the ability of things to have duration, to have stories, to persist. The speed of light isn't a speed limit. It's the speed of causality, the speed of reality itself. And the fact that you can't reach it is what allows you to exist, to think, to feel, to watch this video, to wonder about the universe, to care about any of this. Here's what I want you to remember. You are not slow. You are not stuck. You are not missing out on some cosmic velocity you're supposed to reach. You are a pattern of energy moving through four-dimensional space-time at the only speed reality allows. And the fact that you move mostly through time rather than space is what gives you memory, anticipation, growth, loss, love, and the ability to care about any of this at all. Time doesn't slow down when you move fast because the universe is broken. It slows down because space-time is whole, because your velocity through the fabric is constant and sacred and shared by every particle that has ever existed. The photon rushing past you at light speed is not free. It's frozen. It experiences nothing. It has no story. It's born and dies in the same instant. You, sitting still, experiencing second after second after second. You are the one who's truly alive. You are the one moving at maximum speed through the dimension that matters, the dimension of experience. I want you to walk away from this with a mantra, something you can say to yourself when you feel like you're falling behind, when you feel like you're not moving fast enough, when you feel like time is slipping away. Say this: I am not too slow. I am moving at light speed through time, and that is exactly where I am meant to be. Because you are. You're moving at the only speed the universe allows, and that speed is perfect. You don't need to reach light speed. You're already there. You just need to decide how you want to spend it. You know, there's something else I want to say, something I think about a lot. We live in a culture that's obsessed with optimization, with productivity, with doing more, faster, better. We're told to hustle, to grind, to maximize every minute, to not waste time, and on some level that makes sense. Time is precious. We only get so much of it. But I think we've misunderstood what time is for. Time is not a resource to be spent. It's the medium through which you experience being alive. It's not something you use up, it's something you move through, and the faster you try to move through space, metaphorically in your life, the less time you actually experience. When you rush through your day trying to fit in as many tasks as possible, you're moving fast through the space of your to-do list, but you're moving slow through the time of your life. You're experiencing less, noticing less, being present less. When you slow down, when you pause, when you just sit and breathe and notice what it feels like to be alive, you're moving slow through space but fast through time. You're spending your velocity on experience, on presence, on actually living. And I think that's the lesson here. The real, deep lesson that relativity teaches us about how to live. Don't chase speed. Chase presence. Don't try to fit more into your day. Try to be more present with what's already there, because your total velocity through space-time is fixed. You can't increase it, you can only decide how to allocate it. And the more you allocate to rushing through space, through tasks, through goals, through checkboxes, the less you allocate to moving through time, to actually experiencing your life, to being here now. So slow down, not because you're lazy, but because you're rich. Rich in time, rich in presence, rich in the ability to experience this one precious life you've been given. You're already moving at light speed. You don't need to go faster. You just need to notice where you're going. Okay, I think we're at the end. I've given you everything I've got on this, everything I understand about why you can't reach light speed and what that means for who you are. If something clicked for you here, if you saw time or yourself differently for even a moment, I'd love to know. Leave a comment. Tell me what landed. Tell me what you're still confused about. Tell me how this changes how you think about your day, your life, your place in the universe. I read the comments. I think about them. I care what you have to say. And if you want more of this, more physics that rewrites how you see reality, more ideas that blur the line between science and meaning, more conversations about what it means to be a human being in a strange and beautiful universe, subscribe, hit that button, join me, because there's so much more to explore. Quantum mechanics, entropy, the arrow of time, the nature of consciousness, the mystery of why there's something rather than nothing. The universe is endlessly deep, endlessly surprising, endlessly generous with its secrets if you're willing to look. And I want to keep looking, with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being curious. Thank you for spending your motion through time with me for these last 30 minutes. I know you could have spent them anywhere, could have moved through space-time in any direction, and you chose to move through this moment with me. That means something that's real. So go now. Live your 1 second per second. Move through time at maximum velocity. Experience every moment you've been given, because that's all any of us get. 1 second, then another, each one precious, each one permanent, each one a slice through your 4-dimensional shape in space-time. You're not too slow, you're not stuck. You're not missing out, you're moving at the speed of light through the dimension that matters most. And that is more than enough. Take care of yourself. Be kind to your motion through time. And I'll see you in the next one.